Hello everyone, I am back with another video from my Salesforce developer series as I study for Salesforce development and just cloud development in general. It's definitely evolved into more of a cloud development study series based on Salesforce and CRM, since that's what I'm mostly passionate about, but we are doing a lot of integration with other systems, which is the focus of today. This is actually a requirement that I've had twice in the past 2 days, and one is for myself, my own personal org for one of my side businesses, and one is for a friend of mine. And basically it involves Salesforce Files Connect. And what that is basically is the ability to link to an external storage provider from Salesforce. And I've seen a lot of people who stored a lot of documents within Salesforce when you have this option here where you can create an external object, or it's done implicitly by whatever process that you're using. In this case, it's Salesforce Files Connect, which is a native feature. We can create a link to an external storage drive. In both cases of what I've done in the past 2 days are with Google Drive, and that link is created via an external object. And if you look at a few videos ago, I demonstrated the external object feature based on a link to an AWS DynamoDB database. And so there's so many different ways that you can use external objects to limit the amount of storage that you're using in Salesforce, while also syncing the data that you have in an external database. Now, let's go ahead and run through these requirements here, because this is a business. We're doing this for business, so I want to make sure we focus on the business requirements first. And the user story here is actually a little different than the actual requirement, because I'm relating it to the job application app that I'm building. But I'm actually demonstrating from my own personal Salesforce org today, so which is not a job application app. It's actually for real estate. But let's go ahead and show you that. As an HR team assistant, I need to access relevant files for a particular employee that aren't stored in Salesforce. My friend, he actually has a mortgage company, and he had to link his external OneDrive, external Google Drive, which he previously had a SharePoint / OneDrive set up. We migrated that to Google Drive because he switched over to Google G Suite for his business services. And there are a lot of different ways you can link to Microsoft's system as well, but Google Drive has the most seamless integration. The acceptance criteria: the HR assistants will be able to search the external data source for relevant documents and attach it to the record. And that's the biggest thing, is that you're on a record in Salesforce, you need a document pertaining to that particular person. For my friend in the finance business, he had credit applications and credit supporting documents like bank statements and things that he had to access in the external system, that he didn't need them all, but he also didn't want them all in Salesforce, so he could reach out, grab the most recent one or the one that's relevant, and link it there. And there's other automation that you can do as well, which can make this even more powerful. On the deliverable, there are quite a few deliverables. I'm actually going to move this to the side, and I'll go over this as I go through the video. So here are a couple of the automations that are running right now, and I'll go over these a little bit later. So the first thing we have to do is set up an application within Google Cloud. And I'm not going to go into the actual app that I've had to create. The documentation is well written, so you can walk through. If you have a Google Cloud console, you can walk through, create enable the service, create the credentials, and then take the credentials back over to Salesforce. So basically, you're just authenticating Google Drive access from Salesforce. There are a couple of different ways you can do it. You can do by user, where each user has to authenticate, or you can use a named principal where it would be just the organization would be authenticated into the Google Drive. And there are other details. I mean, if you have permissions set up in Google Drive, and then you may want to use by user, so that that particular user can't access all the folders. In my case and in my friend's case, neither one of us really cared. There are very few users in both orgs, but we did set them both up to authenticate by user, just because it will be fast. And if there was any downtime or any issue, that person could re-authenticate pretty quickly without having to reach out to anyone else. All right, so over in Salesforce, there are some other things that need to be done. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here we have a Google Drive auth provider, and basically what this is the authentication for Google Drive within Salesforce. You have a consumer key and a consumer secret that we got from Google Drive when we set up the app, and so those need to be enabled here within Salesforce. And so there are two different ways that this could be done. This way, the basic way, is by using Files Connect, which is a native feature in Salesforce, and which is probably the most desired. But I'm going to show you two different ways. So here's the Files Connect. You can enable it here, and you can use file sharing by reference or by copy. Obviously, copy is creating more data. By reference, you can just grab whatever data you need, link it, which is potentially a little slower, but it will use a lot less resources. So that's the way I choose, is to relate the data by reference. Let's go ahead and take another look at another portion that needs to be created. All right, so we have an external data source, and here I only have, for now, Google Drive set up as the external data source. This is what creates the connection using the credentials that we created in the the last portion that I just showed you. And the last thing I did is I created a permission set, and the permission set needs to be added to whatever user is going to be using this. But basically, I created a Files Connect permission set where I gave the access to Files Connect, which is an app, assigned app, and then we also had to give them access to external data sources. And here we gave them access to Google Drive. So those are most of the basic features of the basic Files Connect application. Now there is an external app that you can use, Drive Connect. This is on the App Exchange. It's fairly priced. It makes authentication a lot easier. The connection is a lot easier. It also uses a Lightning component, which I'm going to show you once I get over to where I usually show the demo of the process and the UI. But I'm going to get over there shortly. But and I'll show you both ways. But this is, and you can take a look at this, and there's a demo and everything. I did the free trial, but I'm not going to keep it because I actually set it up natively, and it works just as well. It just doesn't have the Lightning component. And also the one other thing though, you do have easier capability to do automations with Drive Connect because there are some built-in Apex actions. So let's go ahead and take a look at the flow. So I built a flow that would create a file whenever a contact is created. Basically, it'll do a query. It'll look for a record. So here, in this case, it didn't find a record. So for Betty Rubble, so it didn't find a record, and it created, it's going to create a Drive folder. So it creates a folder in Google Drive that links on the Salesforce record. So that way, whenever someone's working on that record, they will be able to access that folder seamlessly. So we're going to do one more. We have, and I'll go over to the UI here. All right, so here we have Barney Rubble. Let me refresh the screen real quick. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead over to our Flintstone account, and we have Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble, and Betty Rubble. We need to add Wilma Flintstone. I believe that was her name. It's been a long time since I watched the Flintstones, but oops. Let's see here. Wilma. Oh, goodness. All right, Wilma Flintstone and her email, wilma@flintstones.com. All right. So we'll create this account for Wilma, and if you look at the flow, I'll show you the results later, but basically the flow runs asynchronously. Let's go ahead and debug it. We'll run asynchronously, and we'll use Wilma Flintstone and run the flow. All right, so you see the flow, the start condition just checks and see if there's an account, which there is. Oh, here it is. And then it goes to search for Wilma Flintstone drive folder, and we have a name nomenclature for the file name, so that way, you know, it stays consistent. It will look for that particular folder name based on, you know, her first name, well, last name Flintstone, first name Wilma. And obviously, I'm going to tweak this, but I'm just demoing it right now. The decision, it checks and see if that value is false. If it contains that folder in that value. If it does not have a folder, then it goes to a create action. What this action is from that AppExchange app, and we can create an action just the same way, and it will create a folder. And so here is basically the JSON results. You know, and the bottom line is that it creates a folder with the name of Flintstone, Wilma, and it places it in the assigned folder, which is in this case is a residential sales folder for the real estate salespeople. So that is pretty much it. I do want to show one more. I do want to show how they work on the front end. I'm going to have to skip a second on the video, and I will show you how I'm able to create these connections. So, all right. So with Fred Flintstone, you see here we have two different. This is the native Files Connect file. Basically, it's just go hit add files, and then here you see the link down here, Google Drive. You search my drive, and then you can go and you can get whatever file you want. And here I'll just get the HOA documents for the limestone property and attach it to Fred Flintstone's contact record. And so here is the app that I showed you, the AppExchange app. We can do the same way, but there are a lot more features. File upload, file link, file folder link. And so if you want to link a folder directly, you can choose existing folder or a new folder, and you can create one if you need to. Let's go to my drive. Let's go to limestone. Oops. Well, there's no folders in there, but let's go to Flintstone Financials. So let's go here, and we'll just link Flintstone Financials, even though there's none in there, just for the example, so you can see how there's two different ways. So basically, you wouldn't do both of these, but going forward, I'm just going to use the native feature. But this just basically shows you how you can link files from your Google Drive to your Salesforce seamlessly and have access pretty instantaneously, and maintain that. So that's it. I do have one more thing to show you. I want to show you how the path I use for creating a link from the local storage on my computer to Google Drive, which ended up getting backed up to the cloud. It syncs, my local computer syncs with Google Drive. Google Drive then is connected to Salesforce. So I'm going to show you that in a diagram. Okay, here's the final part. Just basic diagram to show you how the requirement came about and how we handled it. So everybody has the same local folder, whether it's in a Microsoft environment, Google, whatever, a box drive, whatever. In our case, we're using MacBook computers, and so there was also an iCloud involved. But nobody really uses iCloud in a professional environment. It doesn't work as well, honestly, as some of these other tools and some of these other features. So we just started using Google Drive locally, and then we also installed Google Drive on the computer. Google Drive backs up to the cloud, so you can see local folder to Google Drive in our computer. It gets backed up automatically to the Google Cloud, and then they sync back and forth with Salesforce. We don't have it syncing 100% two ways. We have it selectively from Salesforce to Google Cloud if we want to back a file up from Salesforce, like a contract or whatever. If there's a contract, we may want to push that over to the cloud to that particular client's folder. But if not, Google Cloud is always available to Salesforce. So this sync is kind of selective. It's not 100% two ways, but that's basically how it works, and it seems to be going pretty well. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching through this entire thing and my few stumbles today. But this one was kind of broad and kind of complex, but it was kind of fun. So thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.